In today's episode, the 1993 Ford Taurus Wagon and Sedan. Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel here on YouTube, where we look at cars from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 1990s. And also today, this particular episode was first aired on a Friday, which would also make it a Ford Friday. Every Friday we look at a Ford, and of course today is no exception. If any of that might interest you, please do consider subscribing. But anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at the brochure. So yes, here is today's brochure. It says at the top there, the 1993 Taurus Wagon, Taurus Sedan, now at one choice price. Now this will actually be the second generation of Ford Taurus, not to be confused by the Ford Taurus for those in Europe. Yes, we're in North America here. This particular brochure is actually only a very tiny brochure to give us a little bit of a sneak peek of this car, really. So the episode isn't going to be too long. Styling wise, quite a forgettable style, but at the same time I quite like the styling, particularly the wagon or estate version. I think I quite like those, and I always think it's sad that that type of vehicle seems to be disappearing, or really almost disappeared completely from North America now. In fact, Ford themselves have pretty much disappeared from building cars. It's all SUVs and trucks, of course. Now, this is the second generation. Of course, on the third generation, they went all weird and super curvy, which, you know, Ford was doing around the world. Everything got curvy, and dare I say it, a little bit ugly, but I think at least the third generation is a bit more memorable than this one. It's a little bit curvy, but certainly not like the third generation. Anyway, I am waffling a bit, aren't I? So let's open the brochure up. So when we open the brochure, there's a couple things we notice. First one, if you was here, you'd notice it's very unusual paper stock. It's more like a cardboard, a shiny cardboard surface. Very often the case, very unusual papers and cards are used in North America when you compare it to the brochures from around the world. Second thing you notice up here, it says Taurus still the number one choice for Canadian fleets. So this is like a fleet brochure in a way, you know, encouraging you to get this as your fleet vehicle. So yes, this is a Canadian brochure, so let's get that out the way straight away. The Ford Taurus, though, was a very important car actually for Ford at the time. It was the second generation that was produced by Ford, of course, from 1991 to 1995. But more important than that, for Ford at this time, it did become the best-selling car in the United States, which it held that title until 1995, when this generation ended, and then was superseded by the third generation. So a very important car, and also a reminder of how the car markets have changed in North America. And, you know, like I say, Ford have axed the car. So, you know, we've moved on to SUVs, etc., haven't we? So yeah, everything has changed. This is unusual flap here, just hiding the wagon version, which certainly is my preferred one, and I like wagons. It's sad that they've pretty much disappeared from the market now. So I'll start with the text, and like I said, it's only a small brochure, so this isn't going to be a particularly long episode, but it starts by telling us Taurus still number one choice for Canadian fleets. No wonder, look at the high level of standard equipment on the GL. So we get standard on the GL: split bench seats with dual armrest, tilt steering column, electronic digital clock, tinted glass, interval windshield wipers, body side protection mouldings, luggage compartment lights, four-wheel independent suspension. and front and rear stabiliser boys, plus these safety features: driver and passenger side airbags, speed sensitive power steering, available 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, childproof rear door locks, front and rear crumple zones. And then on the other side of this little tiny flap it says, a wagon widens your choice. Look at the value you're getting for the price of the sedan. You get all of the standard and safety equipment the sedan has, plus a larger 3.8 litre SFI V6 engine that delivers extra performance, a higher residual value by $1,000 come trading time, North America's leader in wagon design, outsells every other wagon year after year, a rear window wiper washer, a luggage rack, flexible 60/40 rear seat backs, and then in typical wagon or estate form, they're kind of like showing you how you can split those rear seats to create more or less room. And it tells you one price, your choice. Give your people the choice of a wagon or sedan on the selector. You name it. Ford Taurus GL or LX and Mercury Sable GS or LS. The price is the same for the wagon or sedan in the equivalent model and trim level. So rather nicely, in this particular fleet catalogue, they're telling you you can have the wagon or the sedan, same price. The choice is yours. I would definitely go for the wagon, I must admit. It tells us proven performance. They have a solid track record of reliability and performance. With design leaders like Taurus and Sable, you get a lot of little touches that make a big difference. Controlled air conditioning comes on gently rather than a blast of cold air. Controlled sound system automatically sets volume, so there's no initial blast. Remote radio controls located in a cluster close to the steering wheel. Easy to find lighted power buttons. Blue-green lighting on dash for better night visibility. Seating with flexolator springs for superb back support. And then finally, tinted side mirrors to reduce annoying glare. The list goes on and on. Go with a Surefinger 93. Add Canada's best-selling wagons to your selector immediately. And then finally, quality is job one. It's working. Usual little phrase there. So let's have a look at the cars themselves. So design-wise, I don't mind the design of these. Actually, I think they look like a pretty nice looking vehicle for the time, but certainly very forgettable. Also here in Canada, where I am at least, I don't think I've ever seen any of these, and this is only 1993. I've seen a lot of the third generation's curvy model, but as far as I remember, I've never seen one of these, which suggests, well, it's hard to say because here in Manitoba, cars don't last very long anyway. You know, the tin worm gets them pretty quickly, and they soon rot out. But just shows, isn't it? 1993. Well, I guess it is a while ago now, isn't it? I always think 1993 is like yesterday, but I guess it is a while ago. But like I said, I've not seen any of these where I am, at least. But like I say, it is a little bit of a rust area. And there, like I say, is the wagon version, which, like I say, I much prefer. And in traditional sort of Ford values and the way they treated these estates or wagons, pretty much the back end was pretty much the first generation. They were always lazy with doing estates, weren't they? But like I say, I think it looks quite nice in estate or wagon form. And in this particular brochure catalogue, fleet buyer's card or whatever you want to call it, no extra charge for this extra space. Flip the brochure over and, well, that's it. So like I say, I was only going to do a tiny episode today because there isn't that much information here. I guess at least it gives us a chance to have a look at the back end and those rear lights and where, of course, the Ford badge is located. And then finally at the bottom here, Fleet Sales Centre, Ford Motor Company of Canada Limited. So there we go then, the Ford Taurus 1993 sedans and wagons. Overall, not a bad looking car, and you can certainly see those in the lines of fleets, or at least imagine them doing there and doing a particularly good job. I don't know what the particular issues or problems with these, so if you did own one, please do jot that in the comments. That's always very interesting to read. And like I said, next came a very curvy model, which I'm sure, well, we got silly curvy models in UK, we got curvy models in Australia, and most people thought they were quite ugly, but actually I quite liked the third generation of these. It was quite wacky and certainly a bit more memorable than this one. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's Ford Friday. Bit of a shorter episode, but I do like to mix it up with shorter and longer episodes. Something for everybody really is quarterlight. So I know some people probably aren't interested in North American brochures, like some people probably aren't interested in European Fords, but I do like to mix it up, give you a bit of everything, because like I say, quarterlight is all about car brochures from around the world. But thank you for watching today. We'll end as we always do by saying, please do consider subscribing. It is all completely free, and it will always be free to subscribe to Quarterlight, so don't worry about that. Hit that subscribe button, keeps you in touch with the channel, and if you hit the little bell, it'll also remind you when new episodes have dropped. Also look at the back catalogue. I think we've got over 600 brochure videos now, so surely there's something for everybody there. I know some of the older episodes are harder to find actually, but that's the weird way YouTube works, where it's really trying to promote your latest videos. But certainly if you're a subscriber or you're new to the channel, flick through the back catalogue. There might be something you have missed. But thank you so much for watching today. I'll add a couple more boxes here if you want to continue your viewing pleasure. There'll be a couple of random brochures here, but thank you so much for watching today. Please do take care. We'll see you very soon. All the best and goodbye.